My name is Lakshita and my interest is filmmaking. And I've been doing open learning for about 2 years, more than 2 years now. And I've been with the cohorts for 6 months, over that actually, but yeah, you can count it as broadly 7, 8 months. So So, CoVersity, I first joined it when they were really starting because I was trying to find my interest. I broadly knew that, I wanted to go into media and, maybe try film. So, I joined CoVersity to just like check it out and, try to figure out my interests and like go forward with that. And after joining CoVersity, I did find out that I did enjoy filmmaking quite a lot. And I chose filmmaking as like the primary career I want to pursue, maybe more if I'm interested, but the primary one is filmmaking. Next one. Yeah. So I spent 6 months in the beginning with with all the cohort members, and I deep dived into filmmaking and I tried out lots of different things. I will share more in the upcoming slides. And after the 6 months, I reviewed every single thing that I did. So we had one meetup. It was not exactly a boot camp, a little bit different, but we had a meetup, and then I did lots of projects by myself, and I also did like exercises and stuff. I went to events and I did lots of things. So after the 6 months, I sort of sat down, I reviewed everything that I did, and I still wanted to pursue filmmaking, so I'm sticking with it. Next. Yeah. So in the cohorts, it was like there was only me in the filmmaking cohort at that point, but there were other cohorts like the writers cohort and the designers cohort, and I collaborated with them a lot because collaborated with them a lot. So with Krishiv mostly because he's into animation, and so we did a few storyboards together. We discussed a few storylines. I also did lots of stuff by myself, and other than that we also like met for weekly meetings where we would like discuss our plan and offer each other support and discuss what exactly wanted to do, and what we didn't do last week, or maybe what we want to include in our plans. So basically it was just like supporting each other all the way. Next. Other than just like me collaborating with the cohort members and like learning, I also did like work, not exactly work, but I have a YouTube channel where I analyze shows and stuff. So I'm working on that. I went to different events and I did lots of networking. I talked to different people. I recently went to this one called Future Fantastic. It's about how AI can help with climate change, and I talked to the filmmakers there and all the creators there, and I understood their perspectives, and I sort of understood how everything works in filmmaking, just not my perspective but like the reality and how different people view it. Next slide. So I am not earning right now, but I do a lot of stuff that could get me money. I'm just not doing it right now. One thing is my YouTube channel. I do lots of analysis and like it's just very broad. Basically, whatever I think helps with filmmaking, I make a video on that. I share my perspective. I've I've discussed with other people. I've done podcasts and I've developed storylines. They are that they're not exactly good, but they can be like sold and I can like, earn from that. Next slide. I have not done an internship, but I was, going to do one. So I talked to different people. I was on LinkedIn and I developed my profile there. I made a portfolio for myself and I talked to a few different people and like what they were looking for and what jobs and internships were available that would both benefit me and the person who decides to take me as an intern. I didn't go through with it, but I did learn a lot about the whole internship process and like how to get internship and how to like make conversation with employers and all that professional stuff. Next slide. For the internship, as I mentioned, I made a portfolio. In my portfolio, there's like all kinds of stuff. It's basically just like an archive of what I've done and why people would hire me or why people should like take a look at my work. There's everything I've done that. There's also like a few of my other interests and hobbies. So if I decide to venture into any other field, then that would also be possible because I have everything there and it's just there for the world to see. Next slide. Yeah. So I started like full on filmmaking exactly 1 year ago. And back then, I did make a lot of films. They weren't good, but with the cohorts and with CoVersity, I got the space to really go into what I did wrong, what I can learn, what exactly needs to be improved on, what's the criteria that is there for a good piece of media. And I basically learned all that so I can work on my filmmaking by myself. Other than that, I also learned, just general stuff like how to interact with people and how to, sell yourself and more. I can't really name everything, but there's more. Next slide, please. Yeah. So mentors, exactly, there isn't like solid mentor. There's different things. So as I mentioned earlier, I talk to a lots of professionals in the field who are working, and I got to know lots of people who are working in different corners of filmmaking. Like I met filmmakers who work on sustainable living and the environment. So they make films and stories. They share stories about the environment and like eco-friendly stuff. And I learned that and I talked to those people. On the whole other end, I also talk to people who make fictional storylines and like webtoons and short films and animated stories on YouTube, just the complete opposite. I also read lots of different books on filmmaking. One book I read was Quentin Tarantino's book on filmmaking. I read lots of different articles about different professionals who work in filmmaking and fields related to filmmaking. Like I said, I make videos. I also talk to like domain experts, so like producers and the financiers and the production teams. I've talked to a few of those people. I talk to cinematographers, I talk to set designers, and just like the whole package. Next slide. Yeah. So the support I got in CoVersity was number one, all my cohort buddies, like it says on the screen. There were also guides to like help us along the way if we needed it. And there's also the whole Aarohi community, and they like share opportunities. And if you have doubts or if you want to know something, then you can ask them also, which I did. So after all of this, when I reviewed, I didn't really notice when I was, doing everything. But after everything, I just noticed all of the possibilities that I have. Number one is entrepreneurship, which is like, making my own studio and just making my own stuff. Another one is I could go and work for a director. I could work for a cinematographer. I could work for a screenwriter, or I could like freelance. So I my interest in filmmaking is vast, so I have lots of options in that. And there's also the option for me to just, come up with my own thing, which is what I'm doing right now.